Well, this is quite the interesting little doodad. I went on to eBay and bought some mystery boxes and got some filmmaking stuff, including a remote start and nifty little tripod doodad with a light, which I don't currently have on. It probably would reflect on my glasses, but maybe we'll try it later. It's been a while, and I gave indications before I kind of went radio silent that things were wacky, out of control. And they sort of progressed that way for another 2 years. And maybe I hit a critical point watching current events and seeing the madness in our world, just absolute crazy. I see a great divide, and I don't condone the people that are on either side of that divide. I'm not going to get too much into that other than to say we should all love each other, try to find peace. And I was becoming a victim of all of that as well. And that's why I decided to come back and try to do this on the regular for my own sanity. Because for far too long, I was suppressing who I am and what I love. Maybe that mystery box was a reminder that I need to get back in the swing of this. I've lost a ton, just so you know. Not like money or loved ones. Those are important, especially the loved ones, but I left music, which was necessary at the time, but it's time I somehow get back involved. I left friends that, I would check in from time to time. I still have wonderful friends that I'm with every day. And my love for motorcycles is not by any means diminished, but it's been a good while since I've had an opportunity to go cross country like I love. On a bright side, I've gotten super sucked down the rabbit hole of 3D printing. I did open an LLC. I may open another. But I've lost a lot of time to things that maybe didn't matter as much, although plenty of people convinced me that it did. So I'm hoping to find that balance again. And I'm going to do my very best to invest some time capturing what it is that I'm up to, because to be honest, it sort of feels like I'm running from one emergency to the other. And that's how I know there's a problem. So today, I started it out for the first time in a very long time by sleeping in until 9 a.m. I know, I'm a slacker. I can't tell you how long it's been since I did that. Then I made a cup of my favorite Death Wish coffee, not a sponsor, but I like the caffeine. It's probably my one last true vice that's left, and they'll take that from my dying fingers. And now I'm gonna head over to one of the local hardware big box stores and buy a table sander. Why? Well, the other thing, I mentioned the LLC. The other thing I've been up to is I've been trying to figure out how to do jewelry and machining and things like that. So you might say, well, it doesn't sound like you've lost a lot, over the past couple years. Sounds like you've made a lot of good progress. And while I would say that's true, what I did lose was the time to myself for video editing, to really give myself time to think. And that culminated to a head in an activity I did last week in which I had 5 hours to do the impossible and had no time to think while I was doing it. So a great reminder that prioritization is important. I've talked about that before on my channels. I want to capture this for me so I can look back someday and say, you know what? That's when things really started to turn around. I've got the full picture. I've got an area of my life where things were incredibly, I wouldn't say easy, because many of you know there are factors in my life that are not easy. There are factors in everyone's life that are not easy. But looking back, it's one of two periods in my life where I was every day surrounded by phenomenal people. And there wasn't a single day that felt like I was pushing things uphill, at least not to the degree that I've seen it as of late, and that brings me back down to earth. So today is the day that represents me taking a breath and starting the next chapter. I want to continue what I started in COVID. I started writing a book. You can check it out at importantjourney.com, and that's important-journey.com. I'll put the link down here. And what I have out there is a very rough draft at the beginning, and I'll go back and revisit it and make improvements. If you like what I'm doing here, it would mean a lot to me if you liked and subscribed to the channel. I was really bad about asking for that before, but even though I'm doing this for myself, it would mean a lot to know that maybe there are some people that are getting something out of it. And that's ultimately the goal of what I want out of my book, is that it helps somebody. And I don't know, some people won't surprise, some will look at that and be like, when they get into it. So that's a little teaser. So anyway, those of you that are still subscribed and hung along, I really do appreciate it. Going into the next year, I will have motorcycle content. I'd like to tell you a bit more about 3D printing. I'd like to show you building my wife's bike. So I do have another build in the hopper. I haven't quite decided what to do with Eclectic House yet. Like today, I've got an actual shop in one of our local Masonic lodges. They have commercial space and I've rented from it. But given a large number of circumstances, I don't know that it will stay there. And I do want to absolutely do something with it. I did create another channel. It's been a bit neglected, but I've also been doing fundraisers through that LLC, through some of my 3D prints, and that seems to be pretty popular. So expect some sort of collaboration between this particular channel and Eclectic House, and I've really got to focus on getting my social media presences back in order. I've thought about leaving lots of them because there's just so much anger. But on the flip side, I always said that I wanted to use these mechanisms to reach people and spread how wonderful it is that we're different, that there's a lot of beautiful things in this world, and there's room for all of us. So I want to get back to that and connect with my artist friends and music friends. They are absolutely my kindred spirits, even though I spend most of my time in my day life working in tech. We'll probably talk a little bit about that. It's kind of got me divided, and it always has. That's why I've got tattoos of old esoteric traditional things on this side of my body and largely nerdy technology things on this side of my body. But here's the truth. I think we've lost our way and lost our balance, and I've been reflecting on that a lot. So maybe if you'll allow me to be deep from time to time, I'll talk about that a little bit too. But in the meantime, I do appreciate you coming back. I've got some footage that I've been doing along the way that maybe makes sense to compile into a video. I got to go through it. But if not, we'll start from here. And this is the point where things start to turn around. My name is Merk. That's not my real name. You can call me Brad. And you're following along, seeing the things that I love in this world. I hope that you'll choose to see the beautiful things that are around you every day.